Rose and Amici's love story began in the innocence of childhood, blossoming amidst the chalky classrooms of Okrika Grammar School, OGS. Okrika, Rivers State, Nigeria. Rose was from Okrika local government area, known for its rich heritage and cultural pride. Amici, on the other hand, hailed from Obio Akbar local government area, part of the Ikwer tribe, known for their vibrant traditions and communal spirit. Despite their different backgrounds, they found common ground in their shared experiences and the dreams they nurtured together. They were each other's first friends, sharing lunch breaks, exchanging secret smiles, and racing along the dusty playgrounds. As they grew older, their bond grew stronger, carrying them through the corridors of secondary school and into the bustling life of university. Rose had always dreamed of becoming a doctor, with a passion for healing and helping people. Amici, fascinated by machines and innovation, pursued electrical engineering. Despite the different paths they took academically, their hearts remained intertwined. They spent late nights together, studying under dimly lit dormitory lamps, whispering their dreams for the future. It was during one of those tender moments that Amici, driven by a fear of ever losing Rose, proposed a blood covenant. "We'll never part, Rose. If we do this, no matter what happens, we'll always find our way back to each other," he said, cutting a small line on his palm. Rose hesitated, but, blinded by love, she joined him. Their blood mingled as they held hands, sealing a promise that would bind them beyond the ordinary. A celebration of tradition. The marriage ceremony. After their university years, they returned to their roots, eager to formalize their love through marriage. The marriage ceremonies reflected the beauty and richness of their respective cultures. Amici's family from Obio Akbar brought elements of the Ikwer traditions, with vibrant attire and deep-rooted practices. Rose's family from Okrika brought their own cultural flair, known for their colorful celebrations and deep connection to their heritage. The day of their traditional marriage was filled with cultural pride and unity. Amici traveled to Rose's village, as custom demanded, accompanied by his family and gifts to honor the marriage rites. Amici was dressed in a traditional robe known as etibor, an elegant garment that flowed gracefully, representing his status and the respect he held for Rose's family. Rose's attire was equally stunning, with a bright, richly embroidered wrapper and blouse, adorned with coral beads that reflected the traditions of her Okrika community. The ceremony took place in Rose's village square, where elders and families gathered to bless the union. The highlight of the event was when Rose, holding a traditional cup of palm wine, gracefully walked through the crowd to find Amici. She knelt before him, offering him the drink as a symbol of their unity and respect. Amici took a sip, and the villagers erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the village as they celebrated the joining of two families. Drummers beat out rhythms, and dancers moved gracefully in colorful attire, each movement a tribute to the union of two souls. Women pounded yam and sang joyful songs, while the men toasted with palm wine, offering blessings to the couple. The entire village came alive with celebration, their joy filling the air as Amici and Rose danced to the beats of talking drums and flutes, surrounded by friends, family, and well-wishers. The marriage ceremony was a grand display of tradition, love, and community. It was a day filled with joy, unity, and the promise of a shared future. For Rose and Amici, it seemed like the beginning of a happily ever after. But as their story unfolded, they would find that not all promises are meant to last. A fateful discovery. After the joyous celebration, Rose and Amici prepared to settle into their new life together. But as part of the marriage preparation, their pastor recommended a genotype test. The results hit them like a lightning strike. They were both AS. The pastor advised them, "This union is not advisable. If you marry, there's a high risk of having children with sickle cell disease. You must reconsider." Rose and Amici were devastated. They loved each other deeply and could not imagine life apart. They ignored the warnings and went ahead with their marriage, believing their love could conquer any challenge. Suffering and regret. The first few years were filled with joy as Rose and Amici welcomed their first child. But soon their worst fears materialized. Their child, a beautiful baby boy, was diagnosed with the SS genotype. The cries of their baby echoed through their nights, racked with pain from the sickle cell crises. Rose's training as a doctor could do little to ease his suffering, and they watched helplessly as their son's health declined. When their son died at just 3 years old, their world crumbled. But they clung to hope and had 3 more children, praying for a miracle. Yet 2 of them were born with the SS genotype, each facing the same fate: crippling pain, long hospital stays, and endless suffering. Of the 4 children they had, they lost 3 before the age of 5, their small bodies unable to endure the strain of the disease. Their surviving child lived, but life was marked by frequent hospital visits and constant battles with pain. The reality of their decision weighed heavily on them. Rose and Amici struggled under the burden of guilt and regret. Their once vibrant love had become shadowed by sorrow, their dreams shattered by a decision made in the heat of youthful passion. They questioned their choices, but it was too late to change the past. The blood covenant they had made, meant to keep them together, now felt like chains that bound them to a life of anguish. Their home, once filled with laughter and hope, became a place of hushed prayers and whispered apologies. They cared for their sick child with all the love they could muster, but the strain took its toll on them, physically, emotionally, and financially. Amici worked tirelessly, trying to cover the mounting medical bills, while Rose spent sleepless nights tending to their child, her heart breaking with every cry of pain. One evening, as they sat by the bedside of their son, who was gasping through yet another crisis, Amici broke down. Tears streamed down his face as he turned to Rose. "Maybe we shouldn't have done this, Rose. Maybe we shouldn't have made that covenant. We ignored the warnings, and now our children are paying the price." Rose held his hand, her own tears flowing freely. "I never imagined it would come to this. We thought our love could overcome anything, but we were wrong. I would give anything to take back those choices if it meant seeing our children healthy and happy." They began to realize the true weight of their youthful mistake. The blood covenant that had once seemed like a romantic gesture had become a curse, binding them to a fate they could not escape. Their love remained, but it was buried under layers of pain and regret. Moral of the story: love is a beautiful and powerful force, but it cannot defy the realities of life. Decisions made in the heat of passion, without regard for their consequences, can lead to a lifetime of suffering. The story of Rose and Amici reminds us that sometimes, true love requires making difficult choices and respecting the advice of those who see beyond the heart's desires. Always weigh the consequences, for some decisions cannot be undone, no matter how deep the love that binds.
Please like, share, comment, and subscribe.